there's the audience and my informative speech. When I was a kid, I remember being so excited to go to the movies. Not just a little excited, I mean counting down the months, watching trailers, spouting random theories of what could happen, and finally sitting in theaters waiting for the movie to start. And when I did, I was the most exciting thing about that week. Thinking about the movies like the Avengers and Pirates of the Caribbean, during those big final scenes, the entire theater would react together. People cheering, gasping, even laughing at the same time. It made the moments bigger than the movie itself. But now things are different. Today we can sit on the couch, pull out our phones and TVs, and watch movies for monthly subscriptions. So that brings us to an important question. How have streaming services changed the film industry, and is it actually for the better? To start, streaming services have made movies and shows way more accessible. Platforms like Netflix, Disney Plus, and Hulu give us instant access to thousands of titles. You don't have to wait for the DVD release or to go to the theaters. You can just press play. According to the IU Library website, you can streaming platforms are also more willing to take risks and explore new types of content. That means we can get more diverse stories, more unique ideas, and opportunities for creators who might not have been given a chance before. And honestly, that's a huge positive. However, the same system creates problems because streaming relies so heavily on supply and demand. Product has come faster and often cheaper. Instead of focusing on long-term quality, companies sometimes focus on releasing as much content as possible in a short amount of time. This leads to the show and movies being judged almost immediately. If something doesn't perform well right away, it's often labeled as a failure, even if it could have grown over time. For example, movies like Turning Red sparked a lot of debate among viewers, and Thor: Love and Thunder received mixed reactions despite being part of a major franchise. Streaming has created an environment where audiences' opinions are formed quickly and can make or break a project almost instantly. Another major change is how content is released. Streaming services have introduced what we call binge culture. Instead of waiting every week for new episodes, entire series are released all at once. At first, that sounds great. You can watch everything whenever you want, but according to discussions from the True Blood blog, this actually reduces the long-term excitement. When shows release weekly, people talk about them more often. They build anticipation, make predictions, and stay engaged for a long period of time. It becomes something you look forward to, and when everything is released all at once, people tend to binge an entire show in a day or two, and they move on just as quickly. This creates a pattern where shows have a huge spike in popularity followed by a fast drop-off. So even if something is successful at first, it doesn't stay relevant for very long. Streaming has also changed the way we experience movies themselves. According to the source like Silver Screen, watching movies at home takes away some of the excitement and seeing most of something for the first time in theaters. At home, there are distractions. Your phone is right there. You can pause the movie, walk away, or multitask. And while that might be convenient, it takes away from the immersion. In theaters, you're focused, you're surrounded by people who are all experiencing the same thing at the same time. That shared energy is something you can't really recreate at home. That shared energy is something you can't really take away from home, and for big movies especially, that makes a difference. At the same time, it is important to recognize the benefits of streaming. Streaming services are cost efficient. Instead of paying for individual movie tickets, you get access to huge libraries for a monthly fee. They're also incredibly convenient. You can watch whatever you want, whenever you want, without leaving your home. And for a lot of people, that accessibility is a game changer. For example, people who live far from the theater or have a busy schedule can enjoy new content easily. But even with all those advantages, something important has been lost. The excitement, the anticipation, the feeling of experiencing something for the first time in a room full of people. Streaming has made entertainment easier, but not necessarily more meaningful. So in conclusion, streaming services have completely transformed the film industry. They've made content more accessible and encouraged creativity, but they also sped production, shortened attention span, and reduced the excitement that once made movies feel special. At the end of the day, it really comes down to what you value more, convenience or experience. I've given you the research, the examples, and the different perspectives. Now it's up to you to decide. Thank you for listening.